What's going on, guys? It's Fred from DD Tech Talk, here with a size review of the iPad 2. Now, if you look over here, I will be posting all the pictures, so let's get started. So, this picture right here, you have the iPhone 4 next to the iPad 2. I mean, obviously we know the iPhone's going to be smaller as far as width, and height, but if we scroll over to this picture right here, you see that the iPad 2 is a little bit smaller than the iPhone 4. Now, it's not a dramatic difference. You can just kind of see the aluminum casing and the antenna on the iPad kind of line up pretty good, but the glass is thinner. So there's that. Now, even with the smart cover on the iPad 2, it's just a little bit bigger than the iPhone 4, which is pretty amazing for something that big. So we have that. So now let's get into the comparison from the first generation iPad. Now in this picture right here, I just have them, showing you that they are pretty much the exact same on the front. Now let's go to this profile picture right here. I mean, you can see the dramatic difference from the iPad 1 to the iPad 2. So if you actually look, the iPad 2 is almost thinner than the rounded part on the iPad 1. That's pretty amazing. So you definitely know where they cut out the size. In this picture, I laid the iPad 2 on top of the iPad 1 screen to screen, and you kind of see the profile of the two. Which it actually kind of looks pretty cool when you do it. Now, with screen to screen, the iPad 2 is actually a little bit skinnier. I tried putting it to see if it would fit in the stand I got for my iPad 1, and it actually doesn't fit. It can actually pull it out from the kind of latches from the iPad 1, and it kind of just slides right out. So it's actually a little bit thinner. You can see in this picture right here that there's a little bit of an edge from top to top. Also in this picture here, it kind of gives you a better view. Now the back edge and the bottom edge I lined up so you do get a sense of how a little bit smaller it is. So there's that. So here's the iPad's screen facing down. You can see the contours of the iPad 2 compared to the first generation iPad. I gotta say, I like the look of the back of the iPad first generation better because it's just a solid or nice smooth transition, is where you can see the roundedness of the first generation iPad. First generation iPad actually kind of looks like the first generation iPhone, or the second iPad, sorry. Looks like the first generation iPhone. So here's the iPad's face down, also with a profile to get a better view of the profile. So as you can see, you got the flat part and the speakers of the first generation iPad, and just the opposite side of the iPad 2. Now the iPad 2 is lighter. You definitely know that. Well, you don't know it, but you go off Apple's word. I doubt everybody's measured it with a scale. So now this picture right here I have of the iPad first generation with the iPad 2 with the smart cover on it, and it is still smaller. Now Apple says it's 33% smaller, but it actually looks like it's half the size of the iPad first generation, which, I mean, it obviously isn't, but, what can you do? So there's that. And so that's the size comparison between the two. I recommend picking up the second generation iPad if, you feel like, if you have the extra money. If you're kind of short on cash, you can pick up the first generation iPad for used for pretty relatively cheap. So, get that if you're not really into the cameras, the faster processor. The first generation iPad works just as fast. So, well, that's my size comparison of the iPads. Hope you guys like it, and I will see you guys later. Peace.